Hey, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be doing another sketchbook tour, but this time of my Etchr B5 Everyday Sketchbook. This is a sketchbook that normally has the white cover, and I have made a separate video highlighting how I created this cover, as well as how I created this cover and more, and I'll leave that linked for you in case you are interested and you don't know what to use and how to do it. But yeah, this sketchbook I think spanned a year, so slightly less than my other sketchbooks. It has 100% cotton watercolor paper, and it is my favorite size, especially for when I am in the studio, because it's in between an A5 and an A4, so in between letter and half letter size. This very first piece, which I really like, I actually created at the end of the sketchbook. So this is my very last painting in here. And that's just because when I start sketchbooks, I don't tend to like painting on the first page. I don't know why, it feels like a lot of pressure. So more times than not, I'll skip the first page and the second page and then maybe start on the third page or thereafter. I don't usually go back and then paint on it, but because the paper is attached to the cover, if you like, because that paper is the same, like 100% cotton paper as is in the rest of the sketchbook, it felt like a little bit of a waste to just leave it completely unused. And so when I finished the sketchbook, I felt brave enough to come back and actually complete it. And I really like this piece. I used a flat brush to create it, so I don't know if you can tell, but if you look at the leaves especially, I feel like you can, they're all like a little bit more angular and rigid. I used a range of different colors, and it was just a lot of fun because at this point it was like, you know, all bets are off, like it's finished, it's done. Before that, I created this one and then this one last. So this is another piece that I created just recently on the 8th of March, and then I think I created this on the 9th of March. And again, just a double page spread. I don't normally do them, but I think because I was so eager to finish the sketchbook and so excited that it was done, I decided to kind of create these double page spreads, and I actually really like it. It's bigger than I normally work, but I liked having extra space. And with this one, I used a round brush, I used watercolors, I used some Neocolor 2s. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to create. And then we go back to the beginning of the sketchbook. So this is the very first, these two spreads are the very first paintings that I actually created in this sketchbook. And I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know if you can you see a clear difference? I think here, so I love adding ink to my paintings, although I'm always stuck as to whether I should add or shouldn't add. Should I leave it completely loose or should I add some ink and make it a little bit structured? I really like the loose and delicate style of the watercolor being complemented with something that's a little bit more structured, which is in the form of having ink. And then here, there's a lot of florals in here, not all florals, but quite a lot of them. And again, you could see I was just playing around with different styles. I feel like I like creating similar things. It is definitely like, it's definitely my comfort to create florals and have like really nice backgrounds and experiment with different colors. And I think I was just leaning into that. Like, I enjoyed the paper, I enjoyed the sketchbook, so let me create what I want to create and what I enjoy creating. Then here, this is last year, so on the 27th of March 2023. So with this one, it's quite interesting because I wanted to see if I could create something that's a little bit more leaning towards realistic rather than the abstract work that I create. And part of the reason that I wanted to do that is because I was like, well, this sketchbook paper is really nice sketchbook paper. I'm using like professional watercolors in the form of Roman Schmoll. Like, let me see what I can actually create in it. And I really like it. It was interesting because it felt very much so outside my comfort zone. Everything like using shadows and trying to not make them go grey, having like a nice diffuse background, but I really enjoyed the process of creating this painting. Then this one I was just messing around on. I think this may have been just before I did the fruit series on Ko-fi, so I was thinking about fruits a lot. But it's so funny because this was just like a random piece of art. I wasn't necessarily like the biggest fan of it, and I remember I think I put it on Instagram and it was like one of my most popular reels ever. Which is so random because it's just such a simple pattern, and I was just relaxing and creating random lemon and slices. Then here again, so with this one, again, just I think actually with both of them at this point, I kind of felt like I've created these two, and I feel quite comfortable creating in this style, and I've created this, and I think I liked it, but I wasn't 100% in love with it, and I just wanted to push myself outside of my comfort zone a little bit and kind of see like, okay, if I am creating florals, is there anything that I can do that's just a little bit different within the realm of these florals, to just see what kind of things I enjoy doing. So back in the day, I didn't like doing backgrounds on my florals, and then I tried it and I really liked it. So I guess I was kind of just trying to push past this more comfortable phase that I'm in and see if there's anything in particular that I enjoy doing. And for that reason, I started adding extra details on the leaves, just like little tiny things that I think most won't even notice. I started doing outlines with the paints to see if that would work. In this one, I used gouache, which was, again, quite different for me. I don't know why. I don't really tend to enjoy using gouache to create florals, but I was like, okay, I'm going to try. So I actually had watercolor down first, and then I also had gouache. I used some Neocolor 2s as well. And it's funny because I quite like this piece. There's something about it. I don't know if it's the color scheme. I don't know if it's the outlines. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's different, but I do like these. They just feel different, but I like them. Then here, so this one was in May 2023, and basically what I've done is I have the flower color theory book, which is this one, and I opened up a page 278, let's see, opened up a page, looked at the color scheme and used that as inspiration to create this piece. And this is why I kind of like this book, and I've done a flip through for my Ko-fi members in case you're interested. So I basically looked at this as a form of inspiration and tried to recreate it, but not in terms of like copying the bouquet, as you can see, but rather looking at the different color schemes and trying to see if there's certainly like different kind of flowers that I can incorporate. So here, for example, I added a peony, and that's because of the peony here. Here I added whatever this is, and here it says peony, torch ginger, ranunculus, sweet pea, and pepperberry. So it tells you the different flowers. So if you can Google it, you'll find out what they are. Then I tried to add these because of these over here. So it wasn't like an attempt to copy it, but it was an attempt to use it as inspiration to try different flowers, different compositions. Like over here, this cute little bit here, inspired by this. So when you look at it, you would probably not be able to tell that it is inspired by it. It's not like I copied it, but it's more so that when I look back on this, I can see that I tried different types of flowers or tried painting things in a slightly different way because I was using this reference as inspiration. So this flower, for example, here is again slightly different to the way that I would normally do a rose, and I anticipate is because of these roses over here. And then I think I tried to do the same thing again, but using a different color scheme, but I didn't write which one it was. No, actually, tell a lie. I think this, interesting. Can you see? They're quite similar, no? So I think I did this, and then I did this. So the book is slightly out of order, my bad. So I did this, then I did this, and then a month later, I did this. I don't know why. Tell me if you're the same. I know it makes sense to paint on here first and then here and here, and like, you know, from left to right. But for reasons unknown, sometimes, a lot of the time, I want to paint on here first. Like I enjoy painting on this side first. So sometimes if I am out of order, it is because I flipped the page, didn't want to paint here and painted here instead. Sometimes it is because this side is drying. So maybe that's why. But the reason that I remembered that as well is not the date, but it's more so the similarity between these two pieces. I can kind of see that I was in the same frame of mind when I created it, even though it's different color schemes and everything, more so like the peony and the rose. I think they were my favorite bits, and I carried it over to here to kind of see what would happen. Then this was on the 9th. So this is 8th of May. This is 9th of May. Kind of random. So again, I think I was thinking about fruits because there's an orange here, and I was again trying to lean into this, let me try different materials, let me try different things when creating florals and see if there's anything in particular that I like. And I was really enjoying in this one how I had outlined. So I was trying to see if I could carry that forward to this. I don't think it's the most successful of attempts, but it's an attempt. And then here on the 9th of May, again, thinking about doing more realistic painting. Then I made it a little bit more graphic by going around it with my ink pen once it is done. And I created it with these 5 Romish colors. So Quin Gold Hue, Quinuptolone Yellow, Hooker's Green plus Quin Yellow, and then Quin Magenta and Core Indanthrone Blue. So it's kind of nice that I did color notes. Then this was from a Ko-fi Zoom session, and I have made a video flipping through my fruit series, which I will link for you. If you're a Ko-fi member, I kind of go into it into more detail. If you're not a Ko-fi member, my ugly sketchbook tour also kind of highlights some of them. But basically, I had a whole bunch of fun creating fruits during that time and doing those Zoom sessions. And these pieces were created in 10 minutes each using gouache. Then here, continuing with the Zoom session, looking at different references. This is mixed media. So here I used the artist Pip pens, I used watercolor, I used gouache. I just used a range of different things, and it was just a lot of fun to experiment to see how all these things work together. This is from last year as well, and this was when I went to Kingston. But basically you can see the River Thames. At the time there were stairs along the riverbank, so I was able to just sit down and chill and just paint and enjoy the view, enjoy the scene. And I think I painted this while looking like across from myself, and then to the side I could see the bridge, and I sketched it but only came back to paint it a year later. I think when I was determined to like get to the end of the sketchbook and finish it. Then this is from the 14th of July. And both of them are for Zoom sessions that I did with my Ko-fi members, and it was all around lighthouses, but also tonal values. So the funny thing about these references is that the reference photos that I used as part of the challenge were in black and white, and then we added our own colors and compared to see how close we were to each other, but also how close we were to the reference. And it was a lot of fun to do, and this is continuing on from that Zoom session. And this one, so did quite a lot that day. Then this is from a different Ko-fi Zoom session, and with this one it was based on references that Ko-fi members had submitted. So Durwood had sent us a lovely daffodil fields, and actually we voted on the ones that we were going to be painting, so it was a lot of fun. So Durwood sent us the tulip field, Renee sent us a beautiful reference of the mountain, and then Humdrum Curiosities sent us like this wonderful waterfall, and these were all references that they had taken themselves as well. So it was, you know, it's sometimes I feel like we look for references from Unsplash and from all these different places, which are good and which I love doing as well. I think it's good and it's beneficial, and I certainly enjoy painting from those references, but I think that a lot of the time we then go and take our own references and perhaps struggle to convert them to paintings because we're used to using professional photographs that have been color graded and have had, you know, perfect composition and whatnot. So it was almost like a really nice opportunity to use our own paintings and to use our own pictures and try to recreate that into paintings and see, you know, what we think about it, how do we change it, do we need to change it at all? But it kind of gave everything a little bit more of a real feel. Then this is, so we skip forward, I don't know why, but basically this is from the future. I left this page empty and then I came back, and on the 17th of February and 18th of February 2024, what I did is basically created little landscapes. So these ones on this side were from imagination. I just basically laid down then laid down watercolors in like different shapes, just laid down different colors with a rough idea of a landscape in mind, and then went back over the top with Neocolor 2s to add extra detail and kind of flesh it out as a bit more of a landscape. So just, I guess, trying to work on creating landscapes from imagination. Now, the thing that was interesting is that when I was doing these, it's not like I had a landscape in my head that I was trying to recreate. It's just that I put the colors down and then see if I can see any landscapes within it and try to recreate a landscape based on that, which is cool. But I think part of me now wants to also try and imagine the landscape before I put the paint down. We'll see. Whereas on this side, I used the references that I'd created, that I'd taken from my reference pack, called Richmond Park, which is for my Ko-fi members. And I'd used that as a basis to recreate these little paintings in short time. So 8 minutes, 8 minutes. And this one, I think I'd left maybe like 20 minutes for. So I did this one first and then these two, again, based on those references that I'd taken myself, which I like. I think it's nice to recreate art based on your own references. And I think I went to Richmond Park maybe like a few months ago, but still those references are a source of inspiration and they still remind me of my time there. So again, it's one of the things that's really nice about painting from your own photos. And I'll leave the reference guide linked for you if you're a Ko-fi member and you're interested. Then this is again from my time, I think it was from the park, yeah, so the park near Richmond Park that I thought was Richmond Park, but actually isn't. And basically, I did a painting of the tree while I was there, and I've made a video of it. And then here, I sketched out a tree. My intention was to then go over and paint it, but I really, really like the simplicity of the sketch, and so I left it. Even though part of me is like, but this is such nice watercolor paper, how can I just leave it like this? The other part of me is like, really and truly, it's more so about me liking what I create, and I like the way that this is without paint, so it's not by force. Then we skip. So this is 2023, August, and I had joined a Daniel Smith Zoom session, and in it one of the artists was painting a reference photo, and I kind of followed along with her, but it's a shame I can't remember her name or anything else, just the date. And then here, this was my travel palette. So I just wanted to make a note of the colors that I was using, as well as the Neocolor 2s that I was carrying around with me in my Etchr field case. And I think I've made a video, actually. This may be part of that video where I talk about the different supplies that I take with me and the different colors that I take with me, and I'll link that video for you in case you're interested. But because I tend to change my palette, I think that there's something quite nice and helpful about having a record of it somewhere in the sketchbook, so that when I look back on all these things, I can kind of see the color palettes that I was working with and the colors that I was drawn to at that time. Then in autumn, so September of 2023, I'd attended a workshop that basically had us painting florals and being outside, and it was just such a wonderful experience. Omar Wynn was one of the artists who was there, and she did a workshop where she was talking to us about using dip pens and also using inks and just having a little bit more of a looser, playful style. And when I came back, I felt so inspired. I bought a dip pen, I bought some inks, and then tried to continue that. Then we jump over. So I think for a few months then, I kind of put this aside and picked up my Caddy Fat book, which, as you know, has over 200 pages. And then after a while, in February, I came back. And in February, I probably did like just under half of that sketchbook within that period of time. So whereas here, so that's what I did over the course of a year, and then over the course of a month, I did this much. So when I came back to it, again, I just got reminded of how much I enjoy the paper, and I've really felt determined to finish the sketchbook. The reason that I really love this one is this was made using the watercolors that I had made myself. So I've made a range of different watercolors, and this piece itself was using two of the blues that I had made. One is called blue, the other one is called tea, because I don't know if it's a turquoise or a teal. But basically, yeah, it feels super, super special because it is my own watercolors. I used a flat brush to create it, and as I say, the aim of it was more so to play around with my watercolors and see how they moved and how they're re-wet. And it just so happened that I also created a painting from it, but it was just such a nice experience, and so what's the word, fulfilling, yeah, it felt full circle. Then here I joined TJ Marston's Zoom session, and it was on master studies, and we recreated this painting that I believe is called something like The Railroad by Cézanne, and I did it with watercolor, and then I think I tried to go over it with pencil, but I kind of felt pointless, so I gave up on the pencil and just completed it with watercolor. Then here on the 27th of February, I was feeling very playful, so again with this I was using a flat brush as well as a round brush. And it's so funny, I'm saying all this now because it's fresh in my mind, but also when you look at some of the leaves, they're a little bit sharper than they normally are for me anyway, and that is because I was using the flat brush, which I think I only really started using because I used it randomly during one of the live streams that we were doing recently, and I kind of liked the effect of it, and I liked the piece that I created with it quite a lot. So as a result, I wanted to try it a little bit more. Hence why I tried it here at the very end and why I tried it on this piece. And I just love how playful and energetic this piece is. I don't know why it is, but I really, really liked it. And then this was inspired by, I should probably make a note of it because I will forget. But basically this was inspired by a bouquet that I got from work. And it looks, again, it looks nothing like the bouquet itself per se. It's more so that when I was looking at it, there were like white roses, there were lilies, and it's kind of taking those different elements that I was seeing and trying to recreate it here. I made a reel about this, I think, because I almost feel like I should have stopped. Like I don't know, I didn't really love it. Time has passed and now I really like it. But at the time when I finished it, I think part of the reason that it then kind of started going a little bit wilder, having a little bit more colors, having a little bit more movement, having more materials like Neocolor 2s and everything else, is because I didn't really like how it was going. And I was like, well, it's ruined. I can do whatever I want now. And I don't know. So now when I look back at it, it looks and feels quite playful, which I like, although that was not the intention initially. And that same bouquet inspired these two pieces. So with this one, I did a sketch, a pen sketch first, and then decided to go over the top with watercolor. And with this, I just used Neocolor 2s and then decided to go over it with ink. I don't know, I really liked the bouquet. I really wanted to immortalize it in my sketchbook. And as you can see, these are all completely different, but to me they just remind me of different aspects of that beautiful bouquet. And I think I also want to play around with Neocolor 2s a little bit more, having a bit of a better understanding of how to use them both in isolation and also with other mediums, because at the moment I only use them to add like a few details here or there, but I feel like there's so much potential for them. And that's one of the things that I was trying to explore with this, where instead of using watercolor and Neocolor 2s, I was just using Neocolor 2s in a bunch of different ways. Then this I created during a live stream, and I'll leave that linked for you in case you're interested. And it was just a really, really nice, relaxing, lovely way to spend the evening. So as I said, live stream, sea blue plus magenta plus Etchr gold. So I only used 3 colors to create these. I think it's actually called ocean blue, not sea blue. I don't know why I keep calling it sea blue. It is ocean blue, Remishmall's ocean blue. And magenta, and then Etchr gold, and this is on the 29th of February. And I just really love the color combination as well as how playful it is and the extra little details that I have on these florals, because I don't normally like doing these flowers. I normally like just doing roses, but I've enjoyed incorporating them a little bit more. Then here, this is on the 5th of March. I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to put color down to paper. And what I liked here, which I can't remember how or why I did it, but I kind of started doing like hatch marks here, which I kind of really enjoyed. I liked doing extra lines and extra details, and just here like extra texture in the background, just little nuances that I kind of felt made the piece look a little bit nicer. And then here, for example, adding Neocolor 2 on the edges just made it a little bit edgier, like tiny details that you would probably otherwise not notice. Then this piece I created during a spa. So basically on the 5th. So when did I do that? Yeah, so this must have been midnight, and then I woke up, went to the spa and created this piece at the spa, and it was just such a nice, lovely, relaxing experience. My family very kindly gifted me a massage for my birthday, and when I was there, they had this really lovely, relaxing room where you could sit, drink tea, be nice and warm. The lighting was lovely. I'd brought my art supplies with me just in case, and I just spent an hour or so sitting there, relaxing, listening to calming music and painting, and it was so nice. It was so nice. And one of the beauties about painting and about creating these videos and everything else is that it really does help me keep everything in my memory thereafter. So when I look back on this painting, I will always remember having spent like a really, really lovely afternoon at that spa. And then this piece here was created the next day. I really, really like it. And I didn't think I was going to at the time. Like, I was just playing around. I think I was watching TV actually. I think it's one of my favorites from the sketchbook. I just love the extra little details like the hatches. I love the dry brush. I love the splatters. I love the playful nature of it. I love the color combination. The whole thing I just really, really enjoyed. And I recreated this two pieces the next day. Yes, the next day I did these two pieces. And this was actually, the color schemes in these were actually completely the same. And I decided to go back over it and just add a little bit of darker colors to make them different, and also to kind of lean into this color scheme that I quite enjoyed in this one. And then here, this is a complete and utter disaster where I completely dropped an entire bottle of acrylic ink all over my table, my desk, my floor, just everywhere, including my sketchbook. And this is me like spreading it out as much as I can. But that, in a nutshell, is my sketchbook tour. If you're still watching, then you are a real MVP, and I really, really, really appreciate you. Let me know that you are still watching by telling me what your comfort subject is. So as you can tell from this sketchbook, for me, my comfort subject, the thing that I love to create most over and over and over again is florals. What is that for you? What completely relaxes you when you're creating? If you've enjoyed this video, then you'll definitely love my series of next ones. Although here I've shown you my florals, if you've been here long enough, you will know that I love to create a range of different things using a range of different medias, and usually I separate them by sketchbook, so I'll leave that linked for you as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.